Shell here. And I have to say, like you, I'm kind of bummed out that we can't have chapel together in the chapel this first week back, full week back to school, when we would normally be having chapel here on Tuesday morning. But you know, we got to get the carpool thing figured out. And once we get that all worked out nice and smooth, because you don't want to be rushing into chapel and feeling like you're late and being frustrated, because none of us would be ready to worship if we had to feel like we were rushing and not in our best attitude and spirit for worship. So I just want to do a little lesson here today on this video, and we can have our chapel time together in our classroom and get a chance to know each other. So for my kindergarten friends, hey, I am Dr. Shell. I'm the guy who does chapel. And starting next week, we'll have a chance to be together in the auditorium together. And for those of you that are new to Cal, again, welcome. I'm glad to get to know you, and I look forward to meeting you guys. I'm wearing my nifty Snoopy back to school tie because I love going back to school. I love school. I've been in school forever and ever and ever. And so I'm excited that we can be together. You know, I got to thinking about times that Jesus got stuck in traffic. Did you know Jesus got stuck in traffic? Well, not like cars and buses and vans, but there were times that Jesus was trying to get from one place to another, and it just ended up being a big problem because everywhere he went there were just so many people. Now, they wanted to see him, they were excited to meet him, but at some point it became really hard for him to get around because there's just too many people. And so in the book of Mark, we read a whole series of things. So Jesus is trying to get alone with his disciples, and there's just crowds of people everywhere. So he went down by the ocean, the Sea of Galilee, which is a really big lake, in the hopes that they could have some time together. And it says that he began to teach by the sea. But there was a very large crowd that gathered to see him. So he got into a boat on the sea and sat down, and the whole crowd was by the sea on the land. So the crowd was so big that Jesus was getting sort of pushed, and people couldn't see and people couldn't hear. So he actually got on a little boat and pushed out a little bit off into the water so that the crowd could be on the seashore. It's sort of like an amphitheater. You know how the beach sort of angles up, so everybody could have a seat, everybody could see him, and Jesus could teach. And then it says, after he got done teaching, and by the way, he does some really good things in this series. He talks about his story of the parable of the sower, where they sowed the seed, and some fell on the good ground, and some fell on the rocky soil. And he tells us that we should want to be the good seed that produces lots of fruit. Then he tells the parable of the mustard seed, and says if you have just a little bit of faith, that God can blossom that to become wonderful things. And so then after that it tells us that he went across the Sea of Galilee to try to get alone for a while. So he gets in 8 miles across, they go across the other side, and when he gets there, he's met immediately. And Mark loves that word, he uses it all the time, immediately. And when he gets off the boat, there's a guy there, and this poor guy has been possessed by a demon, and he lives out in the cemetery among the tombstones. That's pretty rough. And he comes to Jesus and he wants help, and Jesus casts the demons out of this guy, and then all these people come to see what in the world is going on, and it gets kind of a little crazy, and they actually ask Jesus to please leave. So this big crowd has gathered around, and they're like, Jesus, we want you to get out of here. This is creeping us out. So he gets back in a boat, goes back across 8 miles across to the other side, and when he gets there, there's another big crowd that's waiting for him. It says he crossed over again to the other side, and a large crowd gathered around him, so that he had to stay by the seashore. And so then he starts to try to teach again. And while he's just trying to get started to teach, a guy comes running up named Jairus, and he says, my daughter is really, really sick. Could you please come and help me? So Jesus is like, okay. So he stops what he's doing, and he goes, follows the crowd. Again, he's in this big crowd. There's people everywhere. They're not able to go very fast. And then on the way, a woman who has been very, very sick for 12 years comes up, and she's thinking, if I can just touch Jesus, I'll be healed. She has so much faith. She's like, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to interrupt him. I just want to touch him. So she sneaks up behind him and touches his robe, and she's healed. And Jesus stops and looks around at this big crowd and says, who touched me? And in fact, his disciples say, this is a huge crowd. How do we know who touched you? And she was really scared. So she comes up and she falls down at Jesus' feet. And he says, daughter, your faith has made you well. And then another guy comes running up and says, don't bother the teacher anymore. Your daughter has died. And Jairus is so upset. And Jesus says, no, you just believe. Let's go. So Jesus gets moving through the crowd. They get there. There's a big crowd of people. They make them all leave so that Jesus can finally get to Jairus' daughter. And he heals the girl and brings her back to life. It's interesting that this daughter of Jairus is 12 years old. And the woman that stopped Jesus and to be healed by him, it says she had been sick for 12 years. And when Jesus talked to her, he said, daughter, get up. Your faith has made you well. Isn't that interesting? So 2 daughters, 12 years of suffering. One girl is 12 years old and she dies. Jesus heals both. But I want you to notice that all of these things are really interruptions in the process of Jesus trying to do what it is he wants to do. So he's going from here to there and he gets interrupted, and he goes from here to here and he gets in a giant crowd and he can't go where he wants to go. And pretty soon there's so many people that he can't even move around. He has to get on a boat so he can talk to people. Now, boys and girls, I want us to realize that sometimes things just don't go the way we want them to go. Our plans get sort of sidetracked, and again, there's crowds, there's a car accident, bad weather, cancels your soccer game, your field hockey game. There's lots of things that kind of get in the way of what we have planned. But I want us to just take a deep breath and be patient and realize that everything is in God's control. He's going to take care of it. In fact, it tells us in the book of Philippians, this is chapter 4, Philippians 4, 6, and 7. It says, do not be worried about anything, but pray and ask God for everything you need, always giving thanks. And God's peace, which is so great that we can't even understand it, will keep your hearts and mind in Jesus Christ. So you know what? I know it's frustrating, and I know that you're anxious about new year at school and trying to make sure everything is right. And I know sometimes things just happen and it just aggravates us and makes us feel really frustrated. But Philippians tells us, Paul tells us, listen, just take a deep breath and don't worry. Pray and ask God for help and guidance. And then it tells us to ask God. He'll take care of everything you need, but always mix it in with thanks. You know what? Harper was crazy, but you know what that means? There's a lot of people that want to come to a really awesome Christian school. That's a really good thing, something we should be thankful for. And then he says, God's peace will keep us, our hearts and our minds in Jesus Christ. So let's just do the best we can to stay focused on Jesus, thankful for what he's given us, and not worry, and trust that even interruptions, even disruptions, even things when our things go sideways, to know that God is in control, he has a plan, and we want to be part of that plan. So thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing everybody in the chapel next week, God willing, and I will see you then. This is Dr. Shell.